Hey viewers, today I'm going to show you how to replace a door. This door goes from the inside of my house to the garage, and the door just was not sealing that well. It's an old door, doesn't have a threshold, it's time. It's original to the house. So I bought 6-panel fire rated door at Lowe's. It's a gelled one. It's also impact rated, thank you to South Florida. And so I've taken the trim off the door here. I'll show you. So what I usually do here is I'll use a 5-in-1. One of these. You scribe the caulk along the door with a razor blade, and you just kind of get the knife under there and pop it off. So door casing is off, it's right over here. I'm gonna replace that with some new door casing. So now, got to get the nails out. So for those, I use these little nippers. You can usually pry them out like that. And the ones that you can't pry out, I just nib them, cut them flush. So let's do that and we'll pick it up. Okay, now it's time to take the door off the hinges. We'll set that aside, and then we'll take the frame out of the door jamb. Or I guess then we'll take the door frame out of the rough opening. So to do that, we're just going to take all these screws out. Alright, I've undone all the screws that hold the hinges to the door jamb. So we'll just lift the door out of the way. Just like so. It's a heavy door, oh my. Ugh. We're going to reuse the door handle. And we're going to take this trim off. Same way we took the outside one off, so you guys have got to see that part. Again, we take the razor blade and we just score in the corner here. I'm going to try to reuse this trim because I put this one on a few years ago. There's nothing wrong with it. And the goal of this is just to cut that caulk and paint because that has a tremendous amount of holding power. It's very surprising actually. That's pretty loose. The same thing along the top here. That's loose. Just like so. I should be able to reuse this nicely. Okay. Scribe the caulk along the baseboard. Okay, let's get our 5-in-1. Let's do the top piece first. Oh, look at that. It's gonna come off real nicely. There wasn't much holding that one on. So, the process is really just to gently manipulate this and take it out like that. Yeah, hold it up there. So again, we're going to try and save and reuse this because this is pretty good stuff. And then just kind of work your way down and try not to break anything. Okay, so we got the trim off this side. Just use that same technique. 5-in-1 on a razor blade. Didn't do too much collateral damage to the baseboard. Now we got to pry the door frame out. Should just be a couple finish nails that hold it in though. Hi.
What happened to the door?
Exactly. Took the door handle off the old door, and I took the striker plate off of here as well. Just a flat blade screwdriver. Now it's time to use a demo bar and get the frame off. It's not a whole lot to it. Just a little bit of brute force. Now you can go in and cut these with a Sawzall, but I don't really see the point. This is not going to put up too much of a fight. So I'm just going to go all the way around with the breaker bar and break the frame. So I'm done prying part of the door out, and I noticed this. The guy that installed this door many years ago, oops, out of plumb stupid. So I'm guessing this is out of plumb, but we'll check it. Wonder what we'll see behind this one. Now you guys probably noticed this cable going from there to the door, and that's for an alarm contact. So what I did when I bought this door is I also bought a new alarm contact. You can pick these up from homesecurity.store.com or Amazon or wherever, and they're just little magnetic reed switches. They're maybe $5-6 for two. They're really cheap. Why reuse it, right? Just replace it. It's too cheap to risk it. So for now I just cut the wire, and these are called Dolphin connectors here, probably because of the brand name. They just put the wires in there and you just kind of crimp them together. So we'll do another one of those. So let's finish busting this door frame out. Alright, we got our rough opening emptied. Now I'm just going to get those finish nails that held the door in place. Going to use our nippers again. Okay, just vacuumed the side a little bit. Cleaned up all the loose debris. Just notice this door has a sill. The old one did not, which is one of the reasons I'm doing this. The old door was scraping against the tile and didn't seal that well along the floor. It also didn't seal well around the door casing itself. So this door should solve all those problems. So I'm just gonna test fit the door in the opening, make sure it's the right size before I rip all this labeling off and kind of take it to the next level. Right now it's returnable. Once I do that, probably not. The door was hanging up on the drywall a little bit because it was sticking out beyond the rough opening. So I'm just using this tool to kind of even it up with the rest of the frame. I'm gonna kind of run it along here. Makes a mess, a lot of dust. Can always vacuum again. Okay, the door physically fits in the frame, though as you can see we have a lot of shimming to do. Jeez. So now I'm going to take the door back out. I'm going to drill the holes for the alarm contacts. So I'll probably drill something about here, a couple inches away from the side. The alarm contact gives you quite a bit of a pigtail here, so we got plenty of room. We can do it right on the edge. You can see there. You'll never even see it. All right, so now for the alarm contact I used, let's see, what is this? Looks like a 3/8 drill bit to drill through the door frame and into the door. And I had the door and the frame aligned with this little plastic jig that you have here. It's out now, but. And then all you got to do is you slide the sensor into the door frame and the magnet into the door side. And we can give that a quick test. Let's pull out our trusty fluke meter. Put it on to continuity. Hook up our wires and test it before we put everything back together. Because then we'll find out it doesn't work inevitably, which is always what happens. Let's do that. Put this bit back. I don't need this anymore. Sorry guys, I'm kind of scatterbrained today. All right. So let's give her a quick test. Okay, fluke meter's working. I'll move the camera in just a second. I'm just hooking things up. Please be patient. All right, should start to beep. Okay, is it working? So no matter stops beeping when we open the door, everything's good to go. Okay. That's exactly how it should work. So all this is a magnetic reed switch. So when the magnet's near the sensor, closes the circuit, the alarm is happy, you open the door, breaks the circuit, alarm gets mad. That simple. And the newer generation of these things are super, super powerful. They have rare earth magnets, so you really only need to be like within an inch or so of the thing. Magnets have come a long way. All right, so now that we got that set up, let's start putting things together. I broke something awesome. Oh boy. My daughter's gonna be mad. think she got this for me. We'll glue it back together. Cool. All right, so now we start shimming. So I'm gonna go on the inside. I'm gonna start shimming and put this in the door so it stays aligned. If you don't put this in the door, you can shim the frame such that the door doesn't close or open. So always important to do that. Time to start shimming. I can tell just by looking at it that that corner up there has to go that way. Let's confirm it by sticking the level on there. Yep, you can tell it's out of plumb. So let's start shimming. So I've got the hinge side plumbed up. Got a screw down there, screw up there. This is just kind of to hold it temporarily. I got my 4-foot level. Check to make sure we're perfect there. We are. I also check this direction too to make sure we're perfect. And we're pretty darn close. Can adjust it if we have to, but I think we're okay there. So now you can see the other side of the door is kind of wobbly all the way to the bottom. That sill is off the ground. So now we got to shore up this side. So I'm going to shim up the bottom, shim up the sides, and make sure the door opens and closes okay. That opening's really out of whack. Jeez, they must have been smoking when they built this house. All right, so I got that corner shimmed up. I got a screw up there, screw there, screw there. I'm just going to test the opening and closing. I'm going to take that thing out first. Come on. Of course, I got it wedged in there so good. Did I bring pliers in here? Of course not. Why would I have done that? Okay, got it out. Test opening. It's not rubbing. Doesn't kind of open or close itself. Beautiful. Now we just got to drive some more screws into it and shim it up. Got the door all secured, screwed in. And what you should do is on every hinge, you should take one of the screws out and replace it with a 3-inch screw. So you see that screw right there. That one's a 3-inch screw. That one's a 3-inch screw. And down there we have one as well. What that does is that gives the door something really secure, or the door hinge something really secure to bite into, namely the frame of the door, or the stud behind the frame of the door. So, not that it matters inside my garage, but if you were installing this in a front door, that makes the door much stronger and much more resistant to kick-ins. Now this particular door also has a steel plate behind here, which is also added security. So I got a bunch of 3-inch screws holding the door. And right now I also got the bottom shimmed, the threshold shimmed, because you know, it's just this floor is not level. So now I'm going to do is I'm going to run a bead of caulk on the inside and along the outside to seal it up. And I'm using let's see, what is it? Corona Extra. Oh wait, no, sorry, Dynaflex 230. That's for, let's see, hopefully windows and doors. Yeah, windows, door, siding, and trim. So I'm going to run that bead. All right, I ran a bead of caulk on the inside and on the outside, so that's nice and sealed up. Again, I shimmed that so that thing doesn't bow and bounce and whatnot, because the floor is not level. This side of the threshold is actually higher than that side, so I just used some of those plastic shims. I installed the latch assembly right there for the handle and the striker plate, and I just checked the closure, and it's fantastic. Oh my goodness, it's 1,000 times better than the old door. So now I'm not going to install the handle just yet because I have to paint the door. This is just primed, but the door is pretty much installed now. I'm also going to do is I'm going to kind of fill in those voids with some insulation or spray foam. I haven't really decided yet. Mostly for noise insulation, because I do make noise in this garage and I don't want to wake anybody up in the house. Got to put the trim back on, clean up. But the job is mostly done now. Pretty exciting stuff. A lot better. I also got to hook up the alarm contacts. I'll do that too. But I got dinner plans in half an hour, so for now we're pausing. Morning, everybody. I'm talking quietly because my daughter is asleep. Got home after dinner last night and just threw a first coat of paint on the door. And now we're going to do the alarm contacts. So just very simply, we're going to connect these wires together. These dolphin connectors. So first we're going to strip the ends of the wire. Okay, so I got both sets of wires stripped and twisted together. Now you simply push the dolphin connector onto each wire. And all you need to do, you don't need a special crimping tool or anything, you just use just regular pliers and squeeze it together. So put the wires in and squeeze it together. Okay, so we've got both ends crimped on there. So I'm just going to tuck this wire back up here. Keep it out of the way. We're going to fill that gap with some insulation just for some extra noise and energy barrier. Put the handle back on the door. I didn't show that. It's really, really easy. There's just a Phillips head screw there and a Phillips head screw there. It just works like that. Now you may notice that this door is pre-cut for a deadbolt because it's an entry door. I figured why not? It doesn't really cost that much. It's 30 bucks or so. Now what a lot of people don't know is you can get these deadbolts keyed at the hardware store to another key of the same brand. So this is a Schlage, that's a Schlage. So what I did is I brought the key for this lock with me to Lowe's, and I just had the hardware section guy just code this to fit this key, so I don't have multiple keys. Makes life a lot easier. So to install this, simply slide that in there. Gonna drill 2 pilot holes. And then, oh, look who's awake. Good morning. Hi. Did you brush your teeth yet? No? Go brush your teeth. It comes with all this fancy hardware here. So, in short, Phillips head screw, Phillips head screw. You want to put this ideally on the inside so that you can unlock the door in an emergency without a key. And put this on the outside, the exterior side. I'm never really going to use it though. Then you got to put a striker plate, which is included. One of these things right over there. Also with Phillips head. So let's get started. Yeah, I got my little helper turning the screws for me. Thank you, dear.
Okay.
Try to keep the screwdriver straight, okay? Down a little bit. There you go. Good morning, Bailey.
I think it's tighter now.
Okay, why don't you stop there? Okay, so we got the door handle and the deadbolt in. We got to cut those shims off. We'll probably have to go to the hardware store and pick up some trim. I want to fill those gaps up there. I'd like to do spray foam. I don't know if I should do that or not, though. It seems like a lot of work. Do I have any spray foam? Spray foam is messy. Do I have any spray foam? I do. Look at that. I wonder if it's still good. Right up there. Great stuff. This requires a little bit of finesse, Liz. This stuff expands. Yeah, it's weird. I'll show you. Great stuff. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna try to reuse the trim on the inside because it's fairly new. It's in pretty good shape. We didn't destroy it. So to do that, you gotta cut the nails and or staples or pull them through. Otherwise, you'll never be able to get it back on. So I'm just going to use these nippers to cut them or pull them through. All right, we filled the voids with some spray foam, the expanding stuff. So we got it real good there. Got it real good there. We still have to put the door casing on. Alyssa was a big helper. You don't sound very happy.
Because I want to take the video.
Oh, okay. Here, you take the video. It's recording. I gotta scrape that off there before it gets too thick. So what do you think, Liz?
It's good.
It's good? Let's even this out before it oozes everywhere. There we go. It's sticking out a little bit. We don't want it to be sticking out. boy, it's expanding. See how it's sticking out a little bit now?
Yeah.
All right, I think we'll be okay. I hope. And again, that was this great stuff. You get it at the hardware stores. Really good insulator. And when you're done with the tip, clean it with acetone. It's a little trick. I don't know if they mentioned that in the instructions or not. Otherwise, you will never be able to use it again. I usually keep a little acetone on hand just for that. So watch. A little chemical reaction will occur. So, you know, it shrinks it up like that. Disappears. Neat, huh? You think that's neat, Liz?
Yeah.
Pour a little bit in there, let it drain through. Should clear out the whole tube. See, it's kind of dripping through.
Yeah.
There it goes. Let's put some more in there. Let's dump this out. Put some fresh stuff in there. Can't see what I'm doing. Pour some more in there.
Until it all comes out.
Yep, until the straw drains clear. There it goes. See that? Neat, huh? Put some on here too. What? You want to stop it? It's okay, it's fine. It's still recording. You don't do this, you'll never be able to use this can again. Pretty important.
It's all
Right.
clear.
Yep. I'm just going to get some of the foam off the edges there. And maybe that's going to stay there forever, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
As long as the straw is clear, that's what we care about. All right, let's stop. We'll go to the hardware store. Things don't always go as planned, do they? I even make mistakes. So what we did is we put too much spray foam in here on that side. Now the door doesn't open and close. So we're probably going to pry some of that stuff out. It caused the door frame to bow a bit. So what we'll do is we'll get a drywall saw and just saw some of that out. Used our trusty old drywall jab saw and just kind of sawed it out a little bit. And now it's wonderful. Good as new. That stuff is pretty strong that it bowed the door frame, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went to the hardware store, we picked up some new door casing. So what I'm doing is just measuring it and then we'll pre-paint it.
Mm-hmm.
So I marked, actually I marked the wrong spot. I should have marked up here. I don't want to cut it there, it'd be too short. So I want to cut it right about there. So we'll cut it right there at a 45. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Now when you're cutting trim, what I like to do is cut it a little bit long and then get an exact mark once you have it up on the door. Sometimes you make mistakes when you're transferring marks. That's actually a little bit long right there though. So I'm going to do a 45. Okay, so we got one more piece of trim to go on the inside. Got the foam all trimmed back. This is our last piece in here, and the inside will be complete. Just got to staple it in. I use this pneumatic stapler. It's a Boss Stitch 18 gauge SX. It's pretty simple. And squeeze the trigger. I think I missed the structure. Let's try that again. There we go, now I hit it. Put another one up here. let's do one here. There we go. So that's not going anywhere. Now, what I usually do is I'll take caulk, like so, and I'll caulk. Oh boy, I better stop the music before I get another copyright violation. Hang on. Okay, I'll just run a bead of caulk along where the trim meets the door. Just like this. This seals everything up real nice. Just take a finger and go over it like that. Good to go. Now that the trim is all caulked in, I usually use this stuff here to fill the staple holes. A little bit goes a long way. You just throw a little bit on your finger. You can see that staple right there. And just go like that. And just sponge it off or sand it off later, whatever your pleasure is. Real easy. And then you just go and touch up the paint later on. I had to rip this casing down with a table saw. It just was too wide to fit in that gap there. My daughter is very generously painting that piece over there on the right side. Hi, Les.
Hi.
So once that's ready, we're going to shoot it up with a nail gun. Or a staple gun, sorry. Okay, because we had to rip that trim down with the table saw, we also had to make this top piece a little non-standard. You notice we had to clip the corners a little bit. So that's going to go right up there. My dear daughter was kind enough to staple on these two pieces. Door open. Oh, hi, Bailey. You really want to come out here, don't you? You want to hang with everybody. Let's see how the door opens and closes. Wow. Amazing. Works very nicely.
Hi, Bailey.
Now, because this is a fire door, we have to adjust the spring hinges so the door auto closes. So we'll do that next. It's filming. Okay, so we shot the piece up here, up. We adjusted the tension on the two springs. So now when you open the door like this, let it go, securely latches. So aside from painting the trim and caulking this this piece in, this trim in again, this job is done. Hopefully this helps somebody. And to give you an idea of the pre-painted finished product. So top to bottom. It's a massive upgrade over the door that was in here. Let's look at the inside. Still got paint in here. Keep waving. There we go. All right, so hopefully this helps somebody. Good luck with your door.